Hey guys!
I
We just saw Free Fire. And for those not in the know, this is take 2.
Hence why I am just broken right now.
We just went through several minutes of reviewing the movie until we realized that it was not recording. So, yeah. Quick summary of the movie. Most action movies, there's a bit of gunplay against two sides or whatever in like a climactic kind of thing, right? This movie is pretty much all that in one movie. It takes place in Boston, 1970s. Two factions being brought together to do an exchange. IRA, gun runner from South Africa. He's got their guns. They have his money. There's guys in either party who had an altercation the previous night, and they realize who each other are. Things get ugly quickly. Gunfire ensues. And then things just go batshit crazy from there.
Oh, this was a fun movie. It's predictable, but not predictable in that there's things that like you see coming, but how they get there, you don't entirely expect.
Yes.
Free Fire is sort of comparable to a Death Proof.
It's almost Death Proof meets Reservoir Dogs.
I didn't even go that far with it, really. Where Death Proof was very much a 70s style B movie filmed with more modern techniques. It's pretty much the same thing here.
Yes.
It's also almost that Nobody Survives horror movie. Just obviously as an action movie. This time around there's, well, I guess you could almost say 1.5 survivors.
Yeah.
The final two were the two that I was expecting to be left standing, but one of them wasn't entirely standing, so whether or not they were still breathing once the camera stopped rolling is very much debatable.
I won't get into spoilers of this, but I will say that there is not a clear winner, as it were, in this. There's no clear good guys or bad guys. There's a few little wrenches thrown into the mix, metaphorically speaking, in terms of things that kind of get thrown in to mix things up a little bit.
I don't know if I'd even say metaphorically speaking, because let's be honest, that warehouse is a Rube Goldberg trap of escalation.
And I said wrench. There's a bit of crowbar use in the film, too.
Crowbars, helium tanks, because sure, why not?
Oh, God.
Like, it's basically if one character doesn't piss off another character to escalate the gunfight that little bit more, somebody ends up shooting something that does the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all basically a bunch of assholes, so... Somebody's throwing an insult, somebody's making a joke of something that shouldn't be made a joke of, etc., etc., that kind of stuff, and it just kind of brings things more and more to very tight tension. There are a couple breaking points, and boy, were they glorious to watch. There was some fire involved, some interesting deaths, to be sure. This was a solid movie. Going into this expecting it to be a B movie that is trying to be a B movie, much in the same way that Kong was a B movie trying to be a B movie. Slightly different ways, slightly different genres and whatnot, but ultimately, given that approach, this movie is clearly a movie that seeks out what it's trying to do and accomplishes that brilliantly, and then some a little bit. So I would really say this movie earns a 5 out of 5 for me.
For my part, I'm hovering around a 4 just because I can't call it perfect, and it's very much, I think it is very much for a niche audience.
When I think of a perfect movie is something that has a goal in mind, seeks to accomplish that goal. If it does that, regardless of whether it exceeds that expectation or not, if it meets the goal that it's seeking to meet, that, to me, indicates that it is a perfect movie. Perfect is relative to everything, of course, but I just think that if a movie is trying to do a thing, and it does that thing, then you can't necessarily fault it for maybe some minor missteps in between, because at the end of the day, it got from point A to point B. For me, that's why I gotta give it a 5 out of 5.
No, totally fair. And I'm not specifically faulting it so much as I can't call it as good as something like Logan, which I did give a 5.
That is totally fair.
I don't think that this would have the same appeal to general audiences.
But at the same time, I wouldn't say even Logan necessarily appeals to general audiences. It appeals maybe to a broader audience than Free Fire does.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say general, per se. That's our review for Free Fire. Go check it out.
And thank God this take worked.
Oh, and one last thing. TMI warning. Don't drink coffee before going to this movie. I had to go pee like half an hour into the movie, guys. This was painful. The movie's great. Don't drink coffee before the movie. Alrighty, guys.